All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another brand new episode of the Beyond Spaceship Podcast with the three most favorite co-hosts in the entire world, my boy Brett, my boy Brad, and myself Eduardo. And of course, we have Molly back here in the studio.
Hey,
nonetheless, gentlemen, the last time we left off, this was before Thanksgiving, which we want to say, hopefully you all, you lovely folks, had an amazing Thanksgiving. You stuffed your faces, did a little shopping maybe, but hopefully everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving. But it is still the holidays. It is still a couple days before Christmas. We're in December. We're close to wrapping up 2024, man. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now. Before we start this new year, right? If you want to jump right into it, the topics that we're going to discuss are going to be kind of like a little bit all over the board. We're going to just sling them out one by one here, as depending on the time we have today on this lovely episode. But the first thing, first order of business, I want to say before is how's everybody doing today?
Doing good. Doing good.
I don't know how I'm doing.
I want to thank you for the Mexican Coke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The true way to enjoy a Coca-Cola, like in the glass.
Yeah.
What are some? So speaking of the Coke, the two differences between the ones from Mexico and then the ones from here.
These are made with real sugar cane.
Yeah.
And then the American Coke is made with high fructose corn syrup.
Okay. So they're saying that's kind of linked to. One of the things I've heard. Cancer, right?
Yeah.
Cancer and diabetes.
High fructose corn syrup?
Yeah.
It's just
both,
an
right?
artificial sweetener.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just a cheap sweetener, which, I mean, I think it all leads to...
So it all plays a
your
part
downfall,
in your
right?
demise of your health, so it's not good. But yes, it's always been a thing, a topic of discussion when they say the one in the glass bottle is always better than the one in the bottle, container. But yeah, it's...
Could be a black market for that Mexican Coke there, you know?
Could be.
There already is a black
more expensive
market.
to have it in glass too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But, like when you're in Mexico or, city, whatever, they have their own little recycling. Like we used to, right?
Yeah.
We used to, and then we just got out of it. Yeah, in America, we used to recycle all the glasses, and then, and then you'd get money back for it. But then we just went to plastic, cheap old plastic.
They did a research.
Carcinogenic.
They did
plastic.
a research or a study that supposedly that there's a bunch of microplastics that we have in our bodies that we don't even have a clue of, and that's like also another reason why it's probably bad we have all these plastic containers, and they try to claim it's eco-friendly.
You know what?
That's really not.
I want to know what RFK has to say about.
Oh, dude, I think he would recommend that. He even said actually recently, speaking of RFK, they're gonna get away with artificial dyes and color dyes for foods here, like pretty soon. So that's gonna go away because it doesn't make sense.
Seed oils, those are gone.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't make sense to me in Europe and Germany. I think it's in those. I think it's Europe or in Germany, either one of. But they're saying that they already made it illegal for certain cereals to even be sold there.
Oh, yeah.
And we have them here. It's legal. So it's like,
That's
we
the
kind
funny
of,
thing.
like, there's something going on here then, right?
You get Doritos in Europe and then Doritos here.
Right.
And like half of the ingredients aren't even allowed in the EU.
Yeah, that is
so they have to
interesting.
make them.
That's crazy.
Well, I know there's something about some red dye. I don't know what it does, but I want to say it's cancerous or something like that. And a lot of people try to avoid it because it's in Doritos, it's in Skittles, it's in a bunch of different things, and apparently they don't allow it in some places.
They've always said like yellow 5 that's in your like Mountain Dew, any type of your citric stuff, would lower your sperm count.
Oh, Mountain Dew, right?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Not true.
Remember that?
Is that true or not true?
I don't know. I've got kids at the game, so
You drink hella Dew.
maybe I just came in with an abundance.
Yeah,
But I drank Mountain Dew like no tomorrow.
That's always been one of those
Mountain
things
Dew,
they've
man,
always
that'll
said.
really pack the pounds on. I'll tell you that.
That's a lot of sugar, bro. Yeah.
I remember my parents finally agreed to just buy a 30-pack at Costco, and I swear to God, during that 30-pack, I probably gained 15 pounds like in a solid week.
Mountain Dew was the original energy drink.
Yes.
I would say
Did you remember Surge?
I hated it, but it was super cheap, and we were poor, so we bought the hell out of Surge.
There was so much sugar in it that it ended up getting taken off the market.
Oh,
It was like 92 grams of sugar like
God,
in a can or something like that. Yeah.
That is insane.
It didn't surprise me one bit.
That is
stuff
awesome.
was-
God.
Surge, yeah. Dang, that's
I
crazy.
think
Think
Mellow
about it.
Yellow kind of like took its place. Like they have similar
Yes, yes,
cans.
Wasn't Mellow Yellow? Mellow Yellow was always around, but it was just kind of like
Grandma.
on a sleeper, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you're a little
Kinda-
super.
Oops.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mellow Yellow had that sleeper element to it, to where it was always around. And then like surge would come out, and then people would be reminded that, hey, by the way, Metal Yellow's here.
Yeah, I haven't even tried that though, to be honest. I've always seen it everywhere being promoted and all that, but it's one of those items where like I haven't actually had the chance to even go try it, but I know it's there. So it's.
I think it's more magical when you're a kid and you try it. Like
really?
When you're an adult, you know, you try. Like I'll do RC Cola. You know,
RC Cola's another one too.
I haven't had an RC Cola in a while, so
Yeah.
I'll drink one of those. I'm like, oh yeah, I can tell instantly why this is not number one. Or
So is it like similar to Coke, or is it more Dr. Pepperish?
no, it's more similar to Coke. It's like Coke has a little bit of a spice to it, whereas like RC Cola is a little bit sweeter. But
Okay, interesting.
it was the OG though. It was the OG. That Tab. Tab was the original like 0 calorie drink.
I think it'll be successful to go back to the old days of having, Yay back in the Coca-Colas. I mean, that's how it was, right? They had Coke and actual Coke. That's what it was, right?
It used to be medicine. It used to be medicine. And then they they turn it into a beverage.
Oh, sorry about that, boys. One of our cast members was acting up in the back.
Too
So
much. He's too hyper. But so it was used for medicine, but now we're enjoying it as we are. You know, we had a meal before we started this podcast, and it's a beverage now. So how have times have changed to where it's more a refreshing beverage now than medicine, right?
Yeah, refreshment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, nonetheless, though, I mean, before we jump into the serious and stuff and went on a little whirlwind on that. Okay, the CEO. Let's talk about the CEO that they got murked on the streets. And with all respect, of course, condolences to his family and all that. It's obviously a travesty when somebody gets, pretty much executed like in real time, right?
Yeah.
but
unless you're like a pedophile or something.
Unless, right, of course.
There's no condolences.
Definitely. No
But anyway.
So, Brett, fill us in. What is going on? Like, what was the big? I guess I remember seeing it on CNN Front News when this popped up, and there was video out there. And one interesting thing, actually, I heard about a couple gentlemen discussing about the weapon that he was using. It was semi-automatic because it looked like he was pulling the lever back after every shot. One of the gentlemen that was talking about that was like an expert in guns, and he was saying that type of gun that he was using, if you really want to be proficient with it and knowingly if this was really pre-planned, that you would actually go out with that gun and shoot it to make sure it's not going to jam up. Because in a way, when he was watching the video and kind of describing what was going on, he was saying that this guy, whoever did this, didn't seem like he knew his stuff in regards to like making sure that gun was working properly before doing what he did. So,
but it worked. Right?
But it worked. I mean, obviously, it did do the job, but obviously with some issues and trouble. But I mean, Brett, like, what's behind all this?
The thing, the story is we don't know. Okay. We don't know for sure, but we can talk about what the evidence is. Yeah. Basically, the CEO. Brian Thompson, he was the CEO of United Healthcare. Yeah, he was gunned down in the middle of the street.
Oh, United Healthcare.
Yeah. Yep. Number one.
That's a tough business to be in, especially.
So and we're gonna go into that. We're gonna go into that. So he was executed. It was sloppy, right? It wasn't like, I wouldn't say this looked like the work of a professional. Yeah. But the killer did a lot to cover his tracks. He is still on the loose as of this recording. And he stayed very chill through this whole ordeal. So even with the gun jamming, one theory I heard from other people talking about this is that he could have had if he had subsonic bullets in that gun, then it was too much power for the gun. So then it would misfire like that or jam. But anyway, so he wrote like the old school. Remember the old school mafia killings where they would write words on the casing of the bullet. So when the police came, they would read the words. So they found 3 words etched in 3 of the casings, and they were deny, defend, and depose. And those were 3 words that United would use, or that health insurance carriers would use to deny coverage. What's interesting about United is that industry average denials is for denial of coverage hovers around 16%. United was more like 32%. So they doubled the competition. So you could say, one theory could be that someone he loved was taken away.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
That's a crazy denial rate, especially nowadays, because it's pretty loose. Like, I know I used to work in the industry, and it was much more difficult to get it. Pre-existing conditions, if you had them, it was pretty tough to get any insurance. And if you did, like if you're pregnant and you don't have insurance, good luck. Back in 2010. That you can't, if you get pregnant and you don't have insurance, you're paying for that out of pocket.
That's crazy.
Nowadays, you could do that. You could just show up and be like, I'm pregnant, and then you have to start paying for your health insurance, and then they'll get you on track. But they don't. Health insurances are not allowed to judge you for most pre-existing conditions. I'm sure there's probably some fine print in the contract that says.
And I think that was in large part because of the Affordable Care Act passed under Barack Obama.
Right.
Insane.
During that time.
Okay, so we're thinking, before we proceed, that we can maybe say this, he was disgruntled because of the fact maybe he lost a loved one. They denied them insurance, so it's payback pretty much.
Could be that theory. Could have been he was a hired hit. It could have been a hired hit. It could be made to look like it's personal, and maybe it's just this guy was a POS, and they were gonna send law enforcement going one way, and he was just gonna go another way. I mean, who knows?
That's insane.
I feel like I don't know anything about it, but like in that it feels to me like it was someone who had a claim, possibly like maybe not get passed or something, not get approved. Maybe, like you said, a loved one maybe had cancer and they disapproved coverage.
Maybe he himself.
A coverage of a prescription to keep the person alive and make it to where the person has to pay $5,000 out of pocket. Like there's stories like that, And I mean, I feel like it's something like that, or for himself, right? It doesn't feel like, they didn't give him insurance. Like, I think they just screwed him in like something to where it ruined his life. You know what I mean? And it happens like that a lot. I mean, the first phone call I took, so when I started working in the health insurance industry, they put you on the phones. So you get status on claims and things like that, right? My first phone call was a woman. It was like one of the worst phone calls I've ever had, like as far as hearing like what happened, because you hear the background on some of the people are calling to check up, but like they had something bad happen, like their son passed away or whatever it is. And this woman, she goes, my name's so and so. I'm not going to say her name, but you probably see me on the news. My son was found on the beach in like Forks or something like that, and he was basically overdosed and thrown out by his friends onto the beach, and he was airlifted from to Harborview, and he ended up passing away. And they had like literally $197,000 in fees just from the airlift.
Wow.
Like that type of a thing. It's, and then you're not even counting all the stuff that happened at Harborview. Yeah. Like she was just calling about the airlift. Yeah. Wow. And they only cover, at the time, it only covered up to like 25,000. And the lift was like 200 something thousand. Yeah.
And that's insane.
So,
and then you think about that, like
I think 1/8 of the cost.
Covers the gas. Like it's not even, it's ridiculous. So some of the coverage that they have is like ridiculous. And and in that time, it was just way more difficult. The coverage was worse than it was now. So the 32% is like crazy to me. Like when I heard the 32%, it's like, how do you even find it with the new laws? How do you even within the law deny 32%?
So you're kind of taking me right to where we're headed. Perfect. This is a story that people, all of us have health insurance, or most of us have health insurance. But we've all heard the stories of all these denials. And then you see at the same time, company like United making record profits. So here they are, they have record denial rate, and then at the same time, record profits. Of course. So this CEO loses his life in a very tragic manner, but from what I've seen in the comments, there is just absolutely no sympathy for the CEO. I wanted to read some of the comments. This one says United Healthcare denies 32% of their claims in a 15% industry. My empathy is out of network. The CEO has more blood on his hands than the shooter does. If only these news outlets had the balls to report on the amount of people dying to denied care, instead of trying to make us empathize with one of the monsters responsible. I've never wished a man dead, but I have read some obituaries with great pleasure. A quote by Mark Twain.
Oh, geez, dude.
Greed meets wrath. And then the last one. Not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear backpacks. I wouldn't say anything, even if I knew who he was. Nobody will turn that guy in. People are sick and tired of the health insurance cartel.
He's like a vigilante, dude.
Well,
in a sense, right? Like,
yeah,
that's kind of how they're looking at it. And you have to, I think at the end of the day, it's more of a separation. Of course, this person was somebody's husband, dad, brother, whoever, right? You have to look at it at that stance. And I get it. I get the people's, I would say, coming from that where, they're leaving those type of comments that they, did he even have time of his day to even look at some of these cases that he was denying? Did he ever have the time to be like, dang, maybe we should be helping this person? Like, that's the stuff I would want to know, too, as much as those people would want to know.
I mean, if I'm sitting in the board and I've got record profits and somebody, in that boardroom is telling me, we've denied more than double than what the industry denies.
That is crazy. That when you put it that way, that is insane to me. Yeah. Because it's like, how many people's lives at what cost for you guys to get record breaking numbers?
Yep.
Straight up, that's how it goes down.
I mean, that's the tragedy, right?
That is the tragedy.
Well, and I don't know the state of healthcare, and I've heard of the great ones, right? Like in Canada and like in Sweden and things like that, like where it's like basically, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like free basically to go in.
I think it's free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, social
it's included in taxes and things like that, right? We have it's almost laughable when you talk to people from other countries when they hear about what we have to go through to get like our teeth fixed.
Oh, I mean, that's capitalism at work, right?
Like,
that is,
and even to have benefits, and you can't even get like 2 procedures done before the max is gone.
These bean counters. Here's the thing: health insurance didn't used to be this complicated.
Yeah.
But then these companies have brought in all these bean counters to figure out where they can save every little penny. And a lot of it comes in, hey, we have data showing that if you make these people fill out all this additional 10, 20 pages, they'll just walk away. They'll just take it themselves.
I know this. This is the insurance industry that I'm mentioning, but it's another industry. So the car insurance industry.
Oh,
it's shady. It's shady business. So
I
just went through my. I don't know if you had heard, but my car. It was like 2 months before I finally got my car back. But I was on the way to work 4 months ago, and somebody literally, I'm the only one on the road. Someone pulls out and just slams into the side of me, hits my back wheel.
What?
I'm not even joking. Yeah, just slams into me. It was like right when you're getting on 128, getting onto I-5.
Okay.
There's a hotel right there on the corner. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There's a Shell station and a hotel right on the corner on 128.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So I'm taking a right, going north, right? And I'm just like, I slow down actually because I turn my signal on to go to the Shell right there on the corner.
Yeah.
And it shares a driveway basically with the hotel. And I slowed down and turned my signal on, and he just slams into my rear wheel and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's no one on the road.
He's like,
He could have just waited. He could have waited, bro. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And then anyway, literally he hit me, and in the same swoop, he turned into the Shell. Like, because he hit me. Like,
wow.
And so anyway, what I was going to say is that there's little things like along the way that they really make it difficult for you to jump through. You have to jump through loopholes to get hoops to get what you're owed, right?
Yep.
So like first they get you, they're like, oh well, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for the rental until we figure. So then they get you with that, right? And then you have to go out of pocket for something that you didn't even do. You didn't even do this, right? So you go $1,000 out of pocket for the rental. Oh, and then they go, oh, okay, well, finally we got this information, and then they give you back a little money, and then you're like, what about the rest of the money?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then they give it all back to you, right? You have to ask them like 3 times.
You're lucky you got that. I got backed into at a red light. I was stopped at a red light. Big old truck in front of me, and he realized he was out too far. So he decides to kick it in reverse and reverse right over. Didn't even see me. My car was so small.
He just backed right on you.
Just backed right into me, right? Oh. And then finally, I'm honking. I'm trying to, my muscle memory is I'm still in a manual, so I was trying to kick my car into reverse, right? And then because I was just thinking too, and. But my reverse is all the way up on the top. It's a stick shift, but my brain was telling me go in reverse, and I wouldn't shift, right? But anyway, yeah, he was uninsured, so I have uninsured motorist coverage. But there was so much stuff. Like my rental, I had to pay all of that out of pocket. I never got reimbursed for that.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean it's a shady game, and that's why they make so much money.
They got me for one more thing. So this is what I found just wild, because I have an all-wheel drive car. They would only cover the one. They would only cover one wheel.
But hey, when you change your wheel of an all-wheel drive car, you need to change all four.
That's so dirty.
So I called Les Schwab and asked them about it. I was like, "Is this normal?" And they said yes.
What?
They said they only cover the point of impact.
Oh,
so because I had to change, they're like, "Oh, and also you had to get new tires anyway in a few months." So I'm like, so you just decided I need to buy new tires. So I had to go $1,000 out of pocket for that, because I had to buy 3 new tires,
man,
to match it. So I'm like, okay, I had to pay my deductible, $500, right? And then I had to pay $900 out of pocket. Then I had to pay $600 up front for the rental car. I mean, I was like $2,000 out of pocket, like, and then that guy probably, nothing happened. It's like, I honestly wish I would have gotten a lawyer or something, because
his EBT card was refilled in tandem.
I was so pissed off, dude. And then I got my car back finally 2 months later, after having rentals, and it was
you talk about tires, right? This Biden economy has not been kind to me.
That's the word right there. This Biden economy hasn't been kind to me.
And so I was just like, I knew, I'm like, man, if I can just wait until December or to get tires, I forget, actually, maybe it's just a couple months, because we're in December right now, but it was a couple months ago, and I was just saying, maybe just wait, get some money stacked up or whatever, but then all of a sudden, I had a nail on my tire. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'll just take it down there. They'll plug the thing. Well, then they told me they can't let me leave because my tires are so bad. I'm like,
that's a lot too.
I know. That's what they say, right? And I'm like, they ain't that bad.
I can make it home.
I'm seeing worse. And so yeah, they got me. They got me for.
Oh, dude, they committed. Like whoever did that commission.
I went to get my oil changed one time when I was like 19, and I was driving this old beat Nissan Maxima. It was a stick shift with like cloth interior, and dude, I was riding on like slicks for a while. Dude.
Oh yeah,
these things. So I'm like shifting gears when it rains and it slides. Every time.
I was sliding.
Oh my, you guys are playing with fire.
So I take it to the Grease Monkey over in Bothell, right by the Safeway there, right? And I pull in there, and the guy comes out, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Dude, you need to go get new tires like right now." Okay. Like, I can't believe they even made it. Like, look, he goes up and he points at it, and the webbing of the tire, it was splitting. You could see the white webbing, and he's like, "Dude, those things are about to burst."
Dude, mine did. I was driving. I was like 19. What'd you say? You were 17? 19?
19.
So I was 19 too, and I was driving my 88 Chevy Beretta, driving on the highway, and people kept warning me. They're like, "Dude, your wires are showing. That is like you're gonna get a flat tire." I'm like, "Oh, I got plenty of miles to go on it." Yeah, and all of a sudden, I just felt my thing. I'm like, "Oh, I know what that is." I just rolled it over, called up my mom. I'm like, "Hey, I gotta go to work, but one of you guys needs to pick up my car, get that taken care of.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that is insane though. That referring back to you about Les Schwab keeping your car like that.
Oh, with Les Schwab, I went lower. Remember Biden economy? I don't have enough money for Les Schwab these days.
Well, that shop you went to, yeah, they can legitimately tell you they won't let you go until you get new fucking tires. Bro. Yeah, that's crazy. So people out there, you better catch yourself before they catch you, or else it's gonna be a nice little payday for them. So just some game out there, but that's crazy.
I don't know about you guys, but this is really random. But I look at people's tabs a lot when I'm stopping, and I look at people are way out of pocket right now, dude. I don't know what is going on because I heard during COVID, so I hung out with this one chick like months ago. And I just looked at her tabs, and they were from like fucking 2 years expired, or like 3 years expired. And I was looking at her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they don't care." She's like, "They don't care anymore since COVID." So people are driving around now with like 2-3 years expired.
But they do care. I mean, here's the thing. So my car so I own both of my cars. The one my wife drives, the one. I make sure that she is set up like tires, oil changes, and tabs. Yeah. So I don't want to give her any reason to be. But me, it expires this month. But I'm not going to replace them. I'm not going to renew them until February. I never do. I never do. I don't know why. Because I got Christmas coming up. I got other things going on.
Biden economy.
Biden economy. That's what I'm saying. It hasn't been kind to me.
Oh, there's a lot of memes out there. They're like, this dude, his wife, he's like, "What are you counting down for?" And he's like, "Why is January 21st marked instead of Christmas?" He's like, "I'm just waiting for the day." That's crazy. But okay, so referring back to our main topic. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're still under investigation. The gentleman that did this still on the run. There's a lot of play in regards to the world. It's pretty brutal. Again, the internet's a brutal place. They're trying to do like they were trying to dress up as the guy that committed the crime. Like a bunch of people are trying to do like who wore it best, and they're trying to reflect the guy that did it. Like, dude, you guys are crazy, bro. Like, I don't know. The internet will remain undefeated, and they will always continue to do so. But yeah, man, it's one of those ones where, again, is there some type of conspiratorial side of this now, since it has to do with the pharmaceutical industry or the health industry? We don't know, but there's stuff flying out there, talking about how it could be, killer competition with other companies, and there was a hit put on him, and that was that. So,
how do you guys feel about CEOs now? Now that we know that people just don't give an F, whether they live or not, do you think that this is something we could end up seeing more of down the road? Or
it would have surprised me, because I mean, think about it. There could always be that one employee or one person, individual that wants to make a statement, and boom, there you go. I mean, clearly so far this guy got away, right? No, they don't know.
And the thing is he's getting this guy is getting such the guy that killed the CEO is getting such positive publicity from the people.
Yeah.
That it's almost like these are the types of things that happen that create copycat.
Copycat. Just to take it back, kind of like school shooters,
someone
right?
else is going to come after someone else.
So someone else is like, oh
CEO.
Man.
Or like mass shooters, right? Like they try to
even if I go out in a hail of blaze, then people are still going to love me. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I mean, that's what...
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. This probably will not be the last one. I mean, something's going to happen in the near future.
Do you think that this would be something that insurance companies are going to, now that they're kind of put on notice, do you think that they'll scale back and maybe let some of those approvals go, especially United? Do you think that they'll reduce their rate of denials after this?
That's a good question. I mean, if they could really link to say this was the reason why it was done, I think they would bend the knee a little bit.
I would be scared, honestly, to work at any healthcare company after that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're involved in claims, because all those people are so easily accessible.
Yeah.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is drive down to 220th.
Yeah.
Sit there, and walk into the front desk. Go, hey, where's the claims department? Oh, that's over in building 3.
Oh, okay.
Drive your car over, park it there, and what's stopping you? You know what I mean? Like,
that's crazy.
Those are really the people that are acting out the orders. Those are the people. Like the CEO. Yeah, maybe he goes, X policies, I mean, probably a lot of policies are already in place when these people take the reins.
A lot of these CEOs, they're shareholder driven.
Right.
Right. And so those denials come directly from the CEO because, hey, the more denials we can issue out,
right,
the more my shareholders, anybody who's invested in United, is a better payday for them. So deny that shit.
So he doesn't even know what those individual instances are, though, really, right? Like he's just blanketly making a decision.
Yep.
So those other people below him are really the ones that are really digging in and denying with the knowledge, right? That's what I'm saying. So and that CEO, those guys are going to be so hard to reach now after this. I would assume there's high security on all of the healthcare.
I'm sure.
People after this. But the other people, what about them? What about the people taking phone calls?
Yep. I can't get you, but I can get you.
Barbara from Claims.
Yep.
Walking out to her car.
Okay.
Walking out to her,
okay.
1990 or 98 Buick, no security. You're walking out to a parking lot, no, you can drive right off the street, park right in there. There's no security.
So Barbara, I've got 2 weeks to live and you're going to deny any service? Okay, thanks, Barbara, for your time. I'll be seeing you later, okay, honey? All right,
so it's like the reverse of Billy Madison when he's when he's got his list of people.
The guy's list.
Glad and called that guy. It's like the opposite. You're writing.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a movie.
Who's that guy? Steve Bellucci? Steve Bellucci. I want to say. Yeah, that guy's awesome. By the way,
he's funny,
he's great. The guy with the goofy guy with the big grin. I'll show you.
That was a Bellucci?
I believe it was. Yeah. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah. It does look kind of somewhat like Italian-ish. It's Italian, right?
Because he was the one that died. Right?
Did he die?
So there was a Belushi that died. James Belushi lived.
Okay.
He did a movie with Tupac, Gridlocked.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Is that the main dude in the movie?
Yep.
Yeah, so it is.
Okay. But
Buscemi.
Steve
Buscemi.
Oh, that that guy.
I'm glad I called that guy. And then he plays in a bunch of mob movies too. And actually, for one hidden one that you guys, I don't know if you've seen it, it's called Boardwalk Empire. It's awesome.
Okay.
It's about the Atlantic City times. So when things were like prohibition and things like that, and there's a lot of historic. It's almost like a real, like a dramatized documentary in a way. Like it's a lot of information of like real, like how things went on and things like that, and how the mob were in cahoots with the government, with prohibition, and government was letting them. Right,
Boardwalk Monopoly,
Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that in my queue.
It's awesome. One of the secondary characters, you see him here. He's got like a face thing because he got half of his eye blown out in the war, and so they didn't have any like prosthetics back then. So basically, it's just this little thing that like hangs.
Eye.
Yeah, it's like a sign. It's like a thing that just hangs from the side of his head, so it makes it look like but when he takes it off, he has a hole like in the side of his head. Yeah. But yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, dude. Yeah, I don't even remember.
How was did he get a knife from United?
Yeah. So there's a moment actually in that, and so I know we're just flying off the fucking handles right now, but that in the show, he ends up getting someone punks him and takes it and breaks it. So I was thinking like nowadays, like you could just go right to the doctor. They'll have something ready for you. Like they'll put something on there until your new one comes. Dude, in the 1900s or the
1930s.
You're that's it, bro. Yeah. Like you put it, unless you just put some tape over it, like call it good. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a trip that back in the days, right? Didn't they say that like barbershops was also like a dentist shop as well?
Oh,
something like that.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
That's crazy. It makes sense, kind of. In a way.
Like because that's they would do you get a fresh line of prosthetics.
The same.
And then you get your teeth. You get work on your teeth. Yeah.
I've never seen them they need to incorporate that in movies. Then.
That's what I remember a long time ago. They were talking about like, what the fuck, really? That's crazy. Times have changed though. But yes.
Yeah, this is definitely highly recommended though, because like you'll see a lot of guys too where this was made long enough ago to where you'll see people now that are stars that are in like sprinkled in throughout episodes and stuff like that, and now they're like big time like doing main roles and stuff.
Like that's where they got their start.
It's kind of like Seinfeld. Like you look at Seinfeld, right? Like all those people. There's like people that make appearances. You're like, oh, that person was in like a movie star, but they were only in one episode of Seinfeld. You know, it's kind of like that. Yeah,
it is funny when you're watching old episodes like that. I've been watching this weird one with Damon Wayans. It's called Me and My Wife.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
Just
He
like
did a sitcom in like 2004.
Cool.
But he had Shaq in there.
Oh, yeah.
He had Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman, yeah.
Oh, nice. He was popular. He was popular, man. Yeah, back in the day.
It was just so cool seeing these people. But
there was a lot of Gary Coleman jokes back in the day.
Oh, I know.
The primary one was like
Chuck Norris.
the primary one was like a dick reference to my dick is like Gary Coleman's forearm. Yeah, that's one that I heard.
But that's messed up. Something about him. Didn't it say like his parents took like they were really taking advantage of him with all his money and stuff like that?
Doesn't
Like,
surprise me.
Probably.
it's crazy, man.
All of them.
I mean, Brittany.
have that.
Brady.
Yeah.
Ooh, you see what's happening with her? Claiming she's 5 years old and she's in Mexico.
Yeah, what is happening? Yeah, she thinks she's 5 years old
She's
now.
claiming that she's 5 years old and she had to move to Mexico. So apparently she's 5 years old and she's in Mexico.
She's 5 years psychotic.
That's
I mean,
It's hard because
it's
you
soft
know
for me.
no, I just wonder with her if it's an act just to get away from everybody, and she just knows she has to just play this crazy act, or if it's like legitimate crazy.
I think she's legit crazy.
You think
I think
so?
she's mentally, yeah.
I mean, she was just loaded with medicine. I know they would load her, so yeah.
She just
it could
doesn't
be,
look
man.
right, even especially because look at how people with money take care of themselves. A lot of the women in Hollywood and stuff like that, and look how she looks. She looks like something is wrong, like she's on drugs, or like her body isn't like her body looks weird, and her eyes are all like she's got bags under her eyes.
Something's wrong.
Seeing Michael Jackson in his last years too,
Yeah.
he was just like really just weak and falling apart in the hospital constantly. You know, and I don't know. I don't remember seeing too much of Prince, but I know that he's same thing.
Yeah.
So it's just this industry is hard on these people.
Yeah,
And it's just
one thing I noticed though when like back in that era when Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears were kind of going at it, and then it was like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC kind of thing.
Yeah.
They were like Christina Aguilera was like the sexy one kind of, right, and then Britney Spears was like the kind of innocent one.
Yeah.
And then Britney Spears kind of started following Christina Aguilera and trying to
she
be like
started
more
hanging
sexy.
out with
Justin Timberlake.
no. Who's the redheaded chick in Hollywood? The actress, Lindsay Lohan.
Oh yeah.
And they were doing the whole thing where they would deliberately not wear panties and then just like spread their legs to get out of the car, and they're like, oh, accidental upskirt shot.
That famous photo with like them in the car, paparazzi.
But it's crazy the how things change, right? Like because everybody, I mean, when Britney, because she was like really popular for a longer period of time than Christina, like it kind of went almost like Beyonce. Kind of like where it just went longer.
Yeah.
And Christina Aguilera kind of got fat, like didn't really have any gigs, wasn't really looking that good. And now all of a sudden she looks amazing.
Yeah.
And she's on The Voice.
Yeah.
Like she has like all these like big, like these big positions now. And Britney Spears is like in Mexico playing with knives.
Cashed out.
Looking like a fucking meth head from Pacific, Crazy, dude. It's crazy how things change.
By the way, do you guys know Christina Aguilera? She's a little bit Latina.
She's so fine.
I didn't know that.
God.
Yeah, she's
I
Spanish
found
and
that.
everything.
Oh.
That's crazy. I
mean, have you heard her last name?
Aguilera.
Yeah, that's why they did the Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge,
Wasn't it in Spanish?
Little kid, right?
She was so hot in that. I'm not gonna lie.
She was my crush. For Christina Aguilera.
Pull it up.
Dude, she started picking up. I gave her a
What's
lot of
that
grace,
song? What's that song
But then
called?
she just
Moulin Rouge.
she kind of blew. Kelly Clarkson was another one, but she
Clarkson.
also, she was like that down south cooker. Oh yeah, she blew up. Dude. Like, there's this line this guy at work uses with me. He's like, marrying a woman is like pulling a ring from a raft. You put the ring on it, and then just.
I was visiting memory lane. There was this video of is it Three Doors Down?
Okay.
Three Doors Down. What's one of their hit singles? It was a really sad song talking about their loved one. He still sees them in their dreams.
Wait, say that again. I know what it is.
If I could be like that,
I still see you in my dreams.
I don't know that song. And I'm big Three Doors Down head.
Is it Three Doors Down or is another?
It might not be Three Doors Down.
It might not be.
What's the lyric?
In my dreams, I still see you, or in my dreams, I still see you. But anyway, it was a concert, and there's this girl crying like profusely. And someone's like, man, back in the days where music was really genuine, and there was just a full thread of people talking about how like the era of music in the early 2000s, like in the late 1990s, was like at its peak. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
dude,
damn, Christina.
The other day, I mean, there's this album that I listen to all the time. It's 1988 album Tracy Chapman, and she is so real and authentic in her voice and the music. It's real instruments and real voice. None of that extra. And a real message. I mean, you could listen to every single song, man. Yeah. And I'm like, that album stays on repeat in my playlist all the time.
Yeah, you see the difference too, because you know what I've noticed too. A lot of these new songs nowadays too, they're usually no more than 2 minutes.
Oh,
and that's something I'm like
ADD culture, bro.
So, bro, I don't know, but it's like I guess that you're trying to refer to the what is it? The attention span on a person nowadays. It's like less than 10 seconds, whatever. Yeah. So like something has to be
TikTok,
right? You know, for real. But yeah, they've really like a lot of music nowadays is just shorter than what it was before. Back in the days where songs were 3 minutes, 3.5 to 4 minutes, whatever. You know.
Before our day, there was Freebird going on 7 minutes long song.
That was to me those times, dude. Yeah, but that's crazy. But Moulin Rouge, yeah.
This video, the Moulin Rouge video.
Oh, Madonna's in this.
Lil Kim went before. Oh, and Maya. She was another one of my crushes.
Yeah, Maya, Pink.
Pink never was. Yeah. She was like white trash to me.
Lil Kim was in that famous poster.
Yeah, but I was still like, I was more of a Foxy Brown fan.
Yeah. Christina Aguilera, of course.
But yeah, in this video, Maya, Christina Aguilera, those were my crushes right
those
there.
Are the two. Definitely.
This made a lot of noise when this dropped, especially at the, when they performed this song, and this is where Christina Aguilera, Madonna, and Britney Spears they kissed each other. Remember that?
Yeah, that was gross. I mean, Madonna, she's just trash.
I want to say this song came out like early 2000s too.
Yeah.
And they only posted it on YouTube like years after because the videos didn't used to all be on YouTube.
Right.
And it has 580 million views still.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of followers that like them.
Yeah, but you're right. They don't make music like they used to, and it's
bless their hearts.
Something's got to change, because I mean, even the emotion, like they've taken all the emotion, and I'm like, God damn, I'm bored.
Yeah. Is this a poem?
Give me some substance.
Right.
No,
she was skinny. Damn, she was skinny.
Yeah, she was skinny. I was gonna say she's pretty thinned out. No, man. I mean, but more of the story. Times have changed. I mean, that's crazy. To bring again that we're almost at the end of this year. This is the last month. We're in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. It's insane. However, one thing I do want to talk about too that it was making headways. Martial law in South Korea.
Oh yeah.
So
talk about it.
What did? So from what I understood is because they were saying that they didn't want any type of influence from North Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. So but break that down for me, for people that might not really understand that. Okay, because I know those are they're two in cahoots. North Korea, South Korea. They don't like each other. North Korea hates us. They think we're just the devil, pretty much, and they're getting along with Russia and China and all that. So. What was the start of all this, like in all reality? Just because they thought maybe they were getting like influence more from North Korea, like you were saying, but what was like the nail on the hammer?
Well, the nail on the hammer to the president calling martial law.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting his way.
Okay.
Parliament or whatever the group is, that is their government leadership. He was running into dead ends everywhere he went. And so he's like, all right, well, he right or wrong, I don't know. I don't know Korean politics, but I do know it's very similar to what you have in Russia and Ukraine, where they're all just one set of people. They're all the same people. They all speak the same language. They have the same cultures. They're just divided by a line, right? North Korea, South Korea, you can say that South Korea is a democracy, yada, 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 all you want. But if you have family, just because, in 1953, it was the Korean War, and that's when they separated themselves.
My grandpa fought in that war.
My great-grandpa fought in that war.
I never thought about
that. The one I'm named after, yeah. I went to the Korea, they call it the Forgotten War because we had just gotten home from Vietnam. And then, let's see, it was between World War II and Vietnam. And so the Korean War was such a small thing compared to Vietnam and World War II. They call it the Forgotten War, but that was my middle name. That's the one I'm named after. Is that guy. So
dude, my grandpa got this badass gun for serving in the Korean War.
Yeah.
It's like this Colt, like a cowboy gun almost. And it has like a marble handle.
Oh,
it's like silver. It's like really, really nice. It came in this like super nice case. I think he got like some award or something, and they gave it to him. Yeah.
Dang.
Wonder how many he killed with that one.
It's like a 6-shooter. It's like a 6-shooter basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's
so
big. It's
maybe
big.
not.
It's bigger. It's big though. It's big. It almost looks like a 45 cal maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's a big one. Yeah.
That's insane. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
But it's okay. So he didn't get his way. Martial law. It made waves. Now, what do you think is going to come from this? Do you think is this kind of like of the great, like is this an awakening for the people of South Korea to kind of like stand up against their government and kind of like sending a message in regards to
we could be on a cusp of a civil war.
Is that what I'm saying? Yeah.
He's the president of South Korea has turned the military on the citizens and put in instated curfews and all these other things. So I don't know. It just depends on the hunger of the people. If the people are that sick of the president and they can figure out a way to overrule him.
Interesting.
You also have a bunch of other people in power that aren't as high as the president, but also do have sway. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, we could see an assassination in the works with this one. I mean, it looks pretty dicey right now, but it just goes to show how, the stage is really being set for World War III. With us, because there's so much destabilization going on right now. This is what you worry about when you're talking about taking that next step. So, so what happens then if the president's claims are true of all these North Korean influences seeping into the southern part of the country? Does that mean that they are now going to align with China? Because if that happens, South Korea has been a very strategic place militarily for the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. So we lose that, we're down to the Philippines. And the Philippines over the past few years have been showing signs that they want to go with China as well. And so we could lose the Philippines, but right now we're more friendly with the Philippines. We've had some new agreements made with the militaries, and so we're good with them right now. But then you lose this; it's just a matter of time before the whole Asian region and China ends up taking over.
That's insane. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, time will tell what will happen if there is some type of assassination attempt. Hopefully, maybe not.
Yeah,
but
pretty soon everything's gonna be made in China.
Oh, bro! I mean, it's insane. Like, what is nowadays, dude? Another
United States of Chinese Federation,
dude.
Another interesting thing that just happened over the weekend. I need to watch. I only watched a little bit of clips here and there. Tucker Carlson interview with the Russia. Is it senator or what is he? Russian.
Wasn't he an ambassador or something?
Ambassador or something. But interesting questions he was asking him about how he sees the U.S. if he really thinks that we're in a proxy war, technically, or if he really thinks that there's going to be some type of nuclear response from Russia to the U.S. if this keeps continuing. Yeah. What does he hope to see once the Trump presidency takes over next year? But to say the least, though, this is what I kind of pay attention overall. That the mere fact that Tucker Carlson's trying to do his due diligence to kind of ease the water a little bit, saying pretty much, we the citizens don't even agree with what's going on. Just like us, we don't agree with any of it. it's not our business. It's not our problem. This is the stuff that they should be worried about.
Yep.
Why is it that now all of a sudden we're looked as the enemy when you have the higher powers that be getting involved in this type of conflict for whatever benefit that's going to benefit them? That's the stuff that I think is like, okay, he's trying to kind of see or feel out what they think about the U.S. So I don't know if have you caught onto the
I
interview or not.
haven't watched that episode, no, but I have heard him talk about this kind of stuff before. And it comes down to the fact that what we keep seeing, and this is my stance as well, is all our children are being used for right now is going to other countries and doing regime changes. We're trying to colonize the world as much as we can. We're trying to exert as much American influence, and we're not doing it through persuasive manners such as trade or anything that is truly democratic. We are coming through with our weapons and telling them, you are gonna change your regime or we will change it for you. And Assad in what was that country? It was a Russian ally. They tried to get him, but they couldn't get him. And so he stayed a Russian ally. And that was the end of our regime changes. But we got Afghanistan, we got Iraq, and then we got, there were 7 countries they were aiming for, but they couldn't get Syria. Syria was Assad, but they couldn't get Syria. So
okay.
it's just, America's influence is waning. People are just tired of it. And then Americans themselves, we don't have the stomach for it either. We see what they see, and that our children are being sent overseas to fight these senseless wars.
Yeah.
Wars we should not be fighting.
For sure.
And they're coming back maimed. They're coming back destroyed.
Yeah.
And they don't. Their insurance is being denied.
Yeah.
We are not helping them. We're not helping them at all. We're not.
It's just
So,
I guess
I hate it.
it's really not worth it to say we're like the least, right? Where there's people that are definitely passionate to go into the military because they want to serve and protect the country for that. But when you talk about sending them to senseless wars or for stuff that is not really in the benefit of the people or just the country overall, I think that's like the biggest problem. I mean, the one we can use an example is the Afghanistan war. Like what did we get from it? Like, what can we solely say? Like, give me 3 main reasons why it benefited us or how it benefited us.
Well, if we would have
mass destruction.
Yeah, lies.
If we would have stayed in Afghanistan, that would have been one thing.
I'm just
Except
kidding,
for what happened was all of a sudden we're in Afghanistan, and then we pivot to Iraq, suddenly looking for weapons of mass destruction. That was all a lie.
Yeah.
It was all a lie. They knew it was a lie, and they went in anyway. So that's where my gut started to change as far as the grand scheme of the Washington D.C. elites, is that you guys tricked all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You bamboozled all of us.
Wasn't the act to invade our privacy the Patriot Act?
Patriot
That
Act,
was
was it?
right.
Yeah.
And that was all connected, right?
Yes.
Like they made it look like, oh my God, we
have to
everyone
hear
has
your
to be
cell
vetted.
phones.
And they made it placid in like a flash, right?
Yeah.
Like they wasn't even thought about, right?
then
Now
even-
they just do it like through our TVs and shit, like for no reason.
And it was on a timeline. It was supposed to be on a timeline. So in 10 years, we were supposed to do away with it, right? Well, then people got involved and said, we cannot get rid of this. We have to keep this. They're already used to it. The Americans are already used to being spied on. Just keep it going. And they passed it again. So that is, we have no privacy. We've lost so much. And they want more. They want our guns. They want us. We've experienced it on the podcast. They want to censor us.
Yeah.
They don't want certain truth to be out there with everything that we've been banned for.
Yeah.
That we have 2 strikes on our channel.
Yeah.
I was right both times.
dude.
Yeah.
I was right both times. And yet they gave us 2 strikes that remain on us because they didn't want to hear it.
I think we might have to make a move to Rumble here soon, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly, this is one thing we've discussed before. We've had a conversation off the pod where, we simply come out here to talk about topics, of course, that are topics that are already out there. We just kind of give it our own spin and talk about it, discuss it, add humor to it. But for whatever reason, it's deemed inappropriate for whoever's running, the YouTube overlords, or however you want to say it. So Yeah, stay tuned for that, because with going off of what you're saying, it's like stuff that they've already come and said that's like, we're just repeating with what they're saying like on the news or whatever.
Yep.
But hey,
we hold the wrong opinion, and our numbers have been suppressed.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in our numbers. Our numbers used to be way higher, and then all of a sudden, boop, we started saying all that stuff. We started going through the strikes, and all of a sudden, numbers just went into the tank.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so you're on that note. I do want to say this, because I know I'll forget at the end, and I always tell myself when we wrap up pods to say this. I know there's a bunch of you that view our stuff, which is crazy and awesome. We love you. We love that you actually interact with our stuff. You leave comments, likes, dislike, all that stuff. But I noticed there's a huge number of people that go through our page that are not subscribed yet. Make it easy for yourself. Do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. It would just help us out too, putting our stuff in the algorithm for people that will possibly like our stuff, dislike it. Who knows? But just help us out, putting us back into the pond. Release that fish out there.
And that helps us be included in those voices that are willing to say the things that we're willing to say here. And so that's where your support with doing that, subscribing, all that kind of stuff, comments, those also help the algorithm, but there's not enough of us out there. So anything you guys can do to help, that helps us spread the message, spread the word. And I think you're right too. Going to Rumble will also help.
This but it's funny that they try to label it as like an alt-right platform. They try to label it like because it's funny to me. It's like, it's kind of a place where you don't get banned for stupid stuff. Right. It's really that's how I look at it. I don't look at it from like left, right, whatever. It's crazy to me. Like, why? Like,
a lot of people don't.
Everything is with labels now. It's like, come on, man. Like, really? So I don't know. Who started Rumble, by the way? Who's the person that started it?
Alt-right. I think Alex Jones was the original alt-right guy. He was the one that they always deemed with that title. But then all of a sudden, they started including like mainstream people like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is alt-right. Jordan Peterson, alt-right. You're like, these are mainstream people. Jordan Peterson wasn't even in politics. He's just, his whole thing was he didn't like how Canada was making him say that there was more than two genders. He goes, there isn't more than two genders, and I'm not going to. I have a doctorate in psychology. I am a doctor. I know better, and you guys don't have any of those accolades. And you're telling me how to do my job. No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I
and so then all of a sudden he got deemed alt-right.
They took away his his license for being a teacher too, right?
Not his license. You can't take away his license. He didn't do anything but they took his job away.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And Canada's crazy too, bro. That's another place where they got. What was the latest thing actually? Before we wrap this one up, so we're getting close to time. The other thing they were talking about how Trump told Justin Trudeau, whatever his name is, Trudeau, that if he keeps doing things the way he's doing, he might as well become a part of the United States. And they would automatically remove him from as minister or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. But he said something in regards to lines of that, like being part of the United States, and but they would have to remove him and make a bunch of changes. But it was like I don't know if it was like if someone just started like the snowball effect of twisting certain words around and making it seem like he said something, but it really wasn't. But it was kind of like a big thing going on X. So I was like, that's crazy.
AI is crazy right now.
I know that Trudeau, Justin Trudeau,
the kissing. They changed someone. I'm sorry. The AI is just insane. So the face off. Sorry, the face off between Tyson and Paul. Someone made it to where they kiss. It's like, and he grabs him and like starts making out with him. And it looks real. You're like, oh, fuck. Anyway, sorry. Trudeau.
No, I mean, I wasn't. I was just going to say, I knew that Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago. I know they ate together, and Trump had good things to say about that meeting. So what I'm getting out of that is that world leaders know damn well that Trump isn't the totalitarian that the left media is trying to make him out to be.
Especially because if that were true, the freaking Prime Minister of Canada wouldn't be talking to him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's considered to be the opposite,
very
right?
Left.
Yeah.
Very left. And the same thing, Mexico has a socialist president for the first time in history, female. Mm-hmm. And they have been making strides in immigration, saying, send those people away. Don't send them our way. If you don't, then tariffs, right? You're going to get tariffs like crazy. So she was like, okay.
Okay.
She sent him the other way.
Did she standing firm too, right? So, I think she said in like a statement letter that she was gonna do something in regards of I forgot what, increase the price. I don't know on what goods, but I don't know what the trade-off would be. But I did see that she said that she would definitely turn around a bunch of migrants coming up to the border, because obviously I think Trump is going to play a little bit more of a hard ball, which I definitely agree on that. But it seems like a bunch of other world leaders are definitely, you would think they'd be the opposite. They're actually willing to, cooperate and talk to the president.
Right.
Next
if Trump was the totalitarian that they said he was, then these world leaders would be treating him like Putin and not Trump.
Why is it easier for them to get into the United States than it is to come back to to Mexico? Like, I feel like once you sneak over, it's harder to get back.
Oh,
you
really?
know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like it is. I don't know. I feel like I feel like when you go over the border as like an American, they're more like strict, like, hey, passport, blah, 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 all the stuff, right? Like, where it's like if you go over, you could just find like a fucking hole in the fence and just like walk right through.
Oh,
do you think it would be? It might be harder to just walk right back. Is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then all the people get stuck in here.
I've gone to the Philippines and I've had issues coming into the Philippines before.
Yeah.
Like they pulled me aside before, and I'm just like, I'm just me.
I do know coming back though, they are very relaxed with stuff like your baggage, unless you tell them like, hey, and they're doing a random check. I could have brought like literally a fucking burlap sack of cocaine in, and they would have never known. No one. I'm like, they just looked at me and I was like, they're like, did you bring anything? I'm like, no, just my stuff. Like, all right, man. Dude, they just stamped me. No metal detector, nothing.
That's
just
crazy.
walked right through.
What about the Canadian border though? They'll get you on food. Up there.
Yeah.
So and they seem like they're pretty hardcore.
No Skittles.
They are too, because I remember when we went there for a convention, a Comic-Con convention. My wife said, "Hey, whatever response you give them a straight response to the questions they're asking. Don't go overboard on, give them extra on the response." And I could tell the dude right away was like kind of waiting for me to slip. Like, where are you going? How long? Who's with you? Like, when are you coming back? Like, just straight.
Well, that's going into Canada.
Yeah.
I'm talking about coming back.
Going in. Going out, I feel like it was a little easier for me that time, but going in was a little bit like more like, it was kind of almost sweat a little bit. I'm like, dude, you're trying to make me break? I'm like, you're my family. We're going to a Comic-Con.
Another thing I heard is they switched. So like when you go into Canada now, you're talking to Canadian law enforcement.
Okay.
And then when you come back into the States, you're talking to American law enforcement.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that years ago it was the opposite. So when you went into Canada, you'd talk to an American.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's I say that they are a little. It seems like they are a little bit more rough in the patches with that when you do go across over there. But I mean, other than that, once you cross, you're pretry much good. You can just go about your business.
What did I do one time? I didn't know that coming back from Canada would be they were on their P's and Q's, or they were on their A game. Because I was smuggling in something. Not like anything super illegal, but like something I knew was not on the list. And I think it was a cigar. I think it was a Cuban cigar. And dude, I'm telling you, I was nervous. Like I was in this line, right? And I had this thing, and I'm like, can I just drop it right now? Can I drop it? And I'm just sweating. I can feel the sweat coming down. My wife notices I'm nervous, and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't want to say anything yet. And then she's like, so I didn't say anything. And then so the guy came in, he goes, anything I should know about? And I also hid it in a compartment in my car.
Oh my God.
And I go, no.
That's
and
crazy.
then, and you go through this x-ray and everything, so they can see everything. And I didn't know about that part. That was the part where I started sweating. And so I drive through this x-ray, and he's like, anything I should know about? Like he knew it. I knew he knew it. I knew he knew it. And I was like, no. And then I go, just that candy bar. Little Canadian
like a little snack, like bite-sized ones.
And he's like, he's just stared at me. He goes, like he was giving me a reprieve, right? Because he knew it and I knew. We both knew. And he goes, have a good day, sir. and we drove in. And then so we're in the States, and I'm like looking for lights behind me. No lights following me, nothing. I'm going, and my wife's like, okay, what was going on? I'm like, I smuggled in a cigar.
Yeah,
what?
I would. Yeah, for something like that, I definitely would be sweating bullets, bro. I get like I try to play it cool, and yeah, dude. In a situation like that, I would be sweating too, bro. That's crazy.
I was like, never again. I'm not doing it anymore.
Dude, hell no.
Yeah, you see the stuff that other people are doing, like
dude,
kids. You know what I mean?
Real life child smuggling, bro. Oh
my buddy bought a bunch of stuff from the pharmacy and just threw it in his bag and brought it back.
Oh yeah, like those Tylenol. Oh, and Vicodin too.
Yeah, Vicodin.
Oh.
Higher milligrams, right?
You could buy like 5 milligram Vicodin there.
And
you can get
the Tylenol that has the codeine in it, right?
You take like 4 or 5 of those things. Oh my lord, you're on Mars.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you can just go buy them like freaking like ibuprofen. Can you imagine that? This place would be insane. All the
like, dude, the country is already loaded with addicts. Just help the rest of us out.
Like, mushrooms will be legal soon.
Dude,
mushrooms shouldn't be legal. I think
they should.
Is it about to happen?
They already passed it. I think in Oregon.
Oh, in Oregon.
I want to say in 2025 they're going to open up shops.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Road trip to Oregon?
Yeah, let's say Portlandia. Here we come. Here we come.
I'm not gonna lie, I like mushrooms. They're fun.
I've never had them. Have you guys?
I could have the chance, but it weirds me out, bro. I'm the type of guy that panic. Like my boys tell me, like, yeah, you start noting, like, you got to play it cool and like not go in there with a state of mind like I'm gonna freak out.
You also don't want to do a bunch the first time. Yeah. That's the key. So like instead of doing like what they were gonna do, a whole batch and just like oh shit, and like stare at the wall, you don't want to do that. You want to do like half of it maybe, so you can get the feeling of what it makes your body feel like, and then you might get like stuff like kind of maybe a little bit moving, but when you take the full batch, you're committed.
So
you're
stuck. What is the purpose for taking them?
Well, it's like a spiritual journey, I guess. Yeah. Like, so if you have, that's why they say that if you're not like a happy person and you have a lot of demons, that it's not a enjoyable experience usually for the first time.
You'd be seeing demons.
Well, because you have all these things. You have these things like in your whatever that are hovering over you that you need to like answer, and sometimes it comes out during that time, so it ruins your experience. Some people can grow from it and do it again next time, but
do you take it? Do you yourself see it as a spiritual thing for you? Or do you do it more as just to have a good time?
It would just be for fun for me.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, like it would be, and honestly, it's fun, but I would never. Maybe once a year kind of thing, you know. Last December, I did it with my brother for his birthday.
I remember you telling us.
Yeah, and he lost his mind. I had the greatest time ever. I was just upstairs, like watching Spider-Man, the cartoon version, the new one, and it's, dude, the way it's filmed is already wild. No, but like it's grainy, and like the way they did it was very different. So when you're watching it even sober, you'd be like, wow, this is weird. And then watching it on shrooms, you're like, dude, there were a couple times where I had to like look away. I was like, oh, I can't look at this. This is like throwing my mood off because I was so in the deep end. My brother was in the bathroom throwing up.
See, my whole thing. So I've always wanted to, and the reason I wanted to was just because I want to see God face to face. You know what I mean?
I have some acid in the freezer if you want to see God face to face.
No, I want the countdown mushrooms. You know,
I've done it myself, but
and so I don't even know how it would do it, but I know that I just want to be alone in my home.
Yeah,
and then I just want to like, I don't know, go on that spiritual journey.
I think maybe from your end, since you have like obviously that image of like that would be the objective. I think maybe something would trigger it off to where something might happen. Because I think it's all dependent on the person, right? Like how they go into it. So, but that's what it is. Like a lot of people say, it is more on a spiritual realm of you meeting our creator.
Yeah, it's not like I want to like, oh man, I want to get shrooms to get messed up. You know, no, that's not like. I see mushrooms, same way I see weed, is a tool rather than, like a medicine, nature's medicine. Yeah. And obviously, these things in nature are meant and were designed. If you believe in an ultimate designer, then you look at nature as, okay, well, this was his design too, and he created this for a reason. Why did he create it? And why did so many men along the path criminalize it? You know what I mean? Are they keeping us from the truth? Do they not want that third eye open? Do they want to keep it? So me, because I have distrust the government, I distrust the man. I just want to go on my own little journey. Yeah. Like, hey, talk to me directly, bro. The feds aren't listening to this phone call.
Tell me the things I need to know. Tell me, inform me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, never say never. That's what I've learned in life. So I may not, try it. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll say, screw it.
Right.
Do it. Yeah, if I ever do, I'll report back.
Hey, you guys just say the word.
Right on. We have our connections.
Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this episode up. Again, we want to just say, again, if you hopefully you had an awesome Thanksgiving. We're close to the holidays. We are going to try to do maybe a Christmas special or something. We got the Christmas hat right here,
I like it.
So, do yourself a favor, though, for people that are new viewers, new listeners, definitely do us a solid. Follow us on Instagram, Beyond Suspicion Podcast. We have direct links there as well. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and from radio. You name it, everywhere. We're on TikTok too as well. We have all our clips of just awesome moments of past previous episodes.
Soon to be on Pornhub.
Yeah, soon. Yeah, that's right. There's a long-lasting joke that we want to be the first podcast on Corn Up. I think we're gonna get enough for that. What is it?
No, I said it with a B.
Okay. My bad. I messed up.
That was a B, not a P.
Corn Hub. So yeah, what are you saying, Brett?
I would say we'll be the only clean podcast on the platform.
Be nuts. So we're gonna sign out. We'll catch you next one. Take care. We love you. Till next time, people. Peace.